Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All channel host Sega Forever here. Just doing a quick video for you guys. Sorry, no working crew today. Was thinking about doing one. Try to get you guys' thoughts on the Summer Showcase, and that's kind of why I'm doing the video because I wanted to give my thoughts on the event tomorrow that Microsoft will be having for Xbox. Looks to be pretty big. A lot of rumors out there. Uh, I didn't want to. I was looking at some of the stuff that was being put out there, but I didn't want to do the deep dive in it. Kind of wanted to be surprised a little bit. Plus, I've been busy. Got a lot of stuff going on, and then also been playing my game. So, like I said in my previous video, I spent a lot of time kind of tweaking my gameplay habits so that I can take full advantage of Game Pass, as well as try and get a hold of my backlog of my gaming library. And I went ahead and bought some more games from Nikon at a great sale. There's other sales to be had, but I mean, at some point in time, dude, I gotta discipline myself a little bit. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that's having that issue as well. But yeah, just a real quick. I won't be streaming this on my channel. I know I was hoping Unlimited would do it. Unlimited did a video actually. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Great podcast. Go check it out. But I will not be streaming on my channel either. I might give my thoughts after the show, after I watch it, because I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch it live tomorrow either. As you guys to know, man, tomorrow's Sunday. So for some reason, Microsoft likes to do their showcase on Sunday. I wish they would do them on Fridays or Saturdays, preferably Saturday, right? And I didn't even know like, so basically everything that's going on this weekend is what takes place on when we used to have E3, right? And so that's why you're seeing a lot of these events now. I kind of forgot about it because I've seen a lot of trailers being put up on YouTube, and to the point where I was like, wow, they've got a lot of games releasing, and I didn't realize that there's a whole summer game fest thing going on. Now you guys know I'm not a big fan of Jeff Keighley. I think that's the person that's running it right now. Anyway, haven't had a chance to really check it out. Saw some trailers out there. If I got some time later out tonight, I'll definitely go do some follow up on the trailers. Might do a video. Probably won't though, guys. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I got other stuff to do. But at least I wanted to do this video, get it out there, let you guys know specifically what I'm looking for tomorrow. But before we get started, man, I got to do some housekeeping stuff for my channel, right? And look, dude, just bear with me on this because it's something I have to deal with because I've been getting a little bit of pushback. Not much. Not a lot of people. Look, they don't watch my channel. I don't get big views and all this kind of stuff, which is fine, man. Like I tell you guys all the time, it's just me kind of just putting my stuff out into the ether. It's like my vlog, right? I got stuff I want to say, I put it out there, okay? But something that I kind of touched on. What's that doing? This is something that I kind of touched on in other videos, right? This tends to go more along the political side of things, even though this is very Xbox specific, and it's just something I have to address really quickly because I feel like the way that gaming is going right now. I just want you guys to let you guys know, man, that I am right. The title of my channel, or what my channel is called, the name of my channel is Xbox All In, which would indicate to you guys that I am a pro Xbox channel. Okay, at the end of the day, I am also a gamer, man. I've been a gamer my entire life. That's why every time I tell you guys, this is not just a hobby for me; it's a lifestyle. I've been off and on gaming, but I always come back to the point where I just realize, this is just who I am, and it's going to be a part of what I do for the rest of my life. I have learned to get better when it comes to my gaming, to be a little bit more selective. I'm not a multi-console owner like I used to be from back in the day. I used to have every single console, even though um, my bread and butter was actually in the arcades. And when home consoles came around, naturally had an Atari and transitioned eventually to being a Sega fan. Had a Nintendo as well, NES, SNES. I think by the time the SNES came around, I had a job. Because this stuff, when people talk about costs and stuff like that, imagine being a kid back in the day, not having money, and having to try and get your gaming fix in. Right? So a lot of times, cartridges are cool because we could just share them. Hey, Vontae, what's up, brother? Yeah, no worries, man. Dude, I totally had no idea they were doing a summer fest. I just knew Microsoft was having a showcase tomorrow, and that's what the video is going to be on. but it's just my feed's been inundated with trailers. A lot of it from Xbox side, and I'm like, that's cool. But I know they did the PlayStation showcase, right? In fact, Unlimited talked about it on his podcast. But I know they did a PlayStation showcase, which I had no idea about. I didn't know anything about it until people started complaining about it. Either people were complaining about it, or people were trying to defend it. And then you have the normies that were they're just talking about it, just because it's an event and it's something they can talk about for the channel, which is fine, dude. You guys know I don't mess with PlayStation, so I don't. The only thing I see, like, of course, on the Xbox side, is the first thing Xbox does is they put that advertisement on X, showing that a lot of the games that's going to be on PlayStation is going to be on Xbox as well. I think the majority of the games, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Vontae. And that's fine too, right? It's been like that for the last 2, 3 years. Of course, that's what PlayStation likes to do. They like to promote their console, which is every business should do. But the way that they promote it, man, it can be somewhat sketchy, right? I know how Sony operates, dude. Anyway, we bleed green on this side, so it's neither here nor there. Though, again, I said Unlimited had a great podcast. Go check it out. Vontae says, I think most of them are, yeah, definitely. Um, because that's what Xbox has been doing, right? The last couple showcases that Sony puts out there, right? Because they won't include Xbox. In fact, I think they might even include PC, right? PlayStation PC. I could be wrong. Correct me, please, if I'm wrong, chat or Vontae, if you know. But anyway, it's just Sony being Sony, and I get it, dude. I'm used to that. I'm used to them, right? More focused on what Xbox is going to do. And tomorrow's showcase, man, I'm not getting too hyped for it. Just because I haven't had the time, Vontae, to be hyped now. I'm busy at work, and I got stuff to do. I'm with my house, and of course, you know how things are, guys. That there's other focuses in real world time, man. If you guys know what's going on with the economy, especially, right? So I've had to do stuff, man. I got to put some time in some things, man. I really do. Dude, I've been teaching you boys, been learning how to cook more. I'm actually gonna make a meatloaf today. I saw this recipe, and I'm gonna try it out, man. This dude, I mean, he just made it look good when he cooked it. So, and it's really simple, dude. Onions, some garlic, some breadcrumbs. He did do show a couple things that he does to make his meatloaf more juicy. So I'm kind of excited to do it. I had to go shopping this morning. That's why I couldn't do the podcast, man. I had stuff to do. I had errands to run. Then I'm gonna go out. I think I got one more thing to buy: onions. I gotta go buy onions because I just want to buy the little pack, dude. I don't want to buy like that Sam's Club, dude. I'm not gonna buy that big bag. So that's what I'm talking about, man. I got stuff I gotta take care of like that, dude. Because look, man, I'm telling you, man, just can't be eating out, man. You guys know I live in the most expensive state in the union, so your boys gotta go old school, man. I got canned sardines, man. I got some Vienna sausage. Vienna sausage still pretty cheap. And I used to roll with the spam, bro, but spam's expensive, especially here in Hawaii. Spam's expensive, dude. Probably because they know we love that stuff. I think spam's like $5 a can at the store. That stuff used to be like dollar. In the mainland, it was super cheap when I was in the mainland, but it was like about dollar something, $2. But now they're crazy. And even Sam's, dude, you used to buy that stuff in bulk, dude. Sam's prices all went up. Everything's expensive, you know. So your boy gotta do what he gotta do. But still wanted to do this podcast, man. I had some time because I gotta get back, dude. I gotta kick off. I gotta go do my games, right? I'm trying to complete some of the games I play, dude. I gotta get the rewards, man. It's like battle passes and stuff like that. I gotta clear all that. I want to start doing the trying to get my Bing points up, right? Just trying to doing the monthly and the daily and all that stuff. Fonte says I remember like two of them saying on PS5 and PC, but I was so bored with it, I barely paid attention. Yeah. That's the general consensus I got, Fonte, and not from the Xbox dudes. I'm talking about like the casuals, man. I mean, it's almost like there's some people I follow that's very general when it comes to gaming. They cover all the systems. They talk about it in a more general sense. I listen to their content to get an idea. Like they don't really delve into the console war stuff. They just put the content out there just to get just an idea of what's happening, right? At least to keep abreast of it, man. So if I do showcase or a podcast or something like that, I can talk about it. But yeah, that's the general consensus I got. And when you have just the basic audience talking about it in a kind of negative light, or they didn't see anything worth getting, the shift, of course, is because of the economy. The shift is definitely falling, looking towards how much it costs for a system. So if you're gonna buy a system, you're gonna pay a lot of money. And I know Sony tried to do their trick and discounted their stuff. You're still gonna pay money for it. The best thing to have done was have your console already. But if you're in that, if you're looking at picking up a console this year and you have to pay the price, dude, you're definitely looking at where to spend money. where to save your money. Spend your money, and then where you can save, get the more bang for your buck. It's going to be Xbox, just from Game Pass. Try and find a system on discount if you guys have extra consoles like I do, like about 5, 6 consoles, Xbox consoles. You can turn them in, get the price lower, do what you have to do. But at the end of the day, dude, if you're looking at games, of course you do what we normally do, Vontae, right? You get the stuff that's on sale. Microsoft's running sales right now. If you can't do that, get Game Pass, dude. All the big titles are going to be dropping in there, right? The last 2 months, you guys have been seeing everything that they've actually been putting into Game Pass these last couple months have been crazy. Doom. Again, I'm playing. I got back into the Division just because they dropped it in Game Pass and they got the new downloadable content. Just a bunch of things, man. I haven't played Serial Cleaner yet. Been addicted to Towerborn. Hey, what's up, Daniel? What's up? Just a quick podcast. Give my thoughts on tomorrow's event. Kind of what I'm looking forward to. What everybody's kind of talking about. It should be good. Hopefully, I can catch it. I mean, if they decided to do on Sunday, the Lord's Day. I'm not trying to say Microsoft is evil. I'm just saying. And I know why they do it, right? They're doing the whole weekend Sunday. They want to do the event. It's a family thing to the way Microsoft produces, or, well, kind of, right? The way they share their stuff. Anyway, they do what they got to do. I got to do what I got to do. And again, let me get back to this real quick, guys. Let me get this out there for you guys to know. As you can see, check out the 2025 Pride lineup from Xbox, dude. And of course, you guys know, right? If you guys are, especially if you guys have Xbox, yeah, you know how Microsoft is. They're for diversity. They're for all this kind of stuff, right? So it's the month formerly known as Pride Month, right? As you can tell, man, because a lot of people are not celebrating it, dude. Again, when the economy goes bad, and then people are looking at what they're going to buy and what not going to buy. I told you guys this for years now, right? Or at least a year and a half, almost 2 years. That when it comes to money, dude, it changes people. When people start, when people's lives and their money start getting affected because of the economy and all the stuff that's going on, that's when people start looking at things with or going through stuff with a fine-tooth comb, using that magnifying glass to see where they can cut corners, right? And DEI and diversity and gay pride and all that stuff is no different, right? And it's good, and it's good to see this, man, because a lot of us know that this was all about them catering to an audience and getting money from that audience, right? Which, dude, if it's your business, you do whatever you want to do. If you believe in it or not, whatever. The problem with all this stuff, just like with DEI, which I talked about in a couple videos ago, right? The thing I didn't like about all this stuff is when they weaponize it, right? Because you guys know me. You guys know I don't agree with this stuff, dude. I talk about on my channel, right? But the reason why I'm bringing, hey, what's up, Tool Man, brother? Just a quick one. Let's let me get this housekeeping stuff out of the way, and then we'll jump right into the showcase. But I appreciate you being there, brother. But you guys know how I stand on this kind of stuff, dude. So, it is what it is, man. And if you guys are supporting the Xbox brand, this is something that you guys know about, right? So some of the stuff coming at me right now, right? Because I do feel a certain way about this. I have a principle about it. I'm a Christian, right? If you're going to ask me, how I feel about all this kind of stuff, I'm going to tell you straight up what it is, right? And so what's happening now, though, right, is that the pendulum is starting to shift towards the other side. For me, I just wanted to shift towards normalcy. But I see the pendulum shifting, and this is with the DEI as well, and going to the opposite direction, which is fine. I don't mind that as well. Dude, if you have an opinion and you want to talk about this stuff, I'm all for it, dude. You can talk about it. I tell you guys all the time, this is why I don't lose my mind with PlayStation stuff, or how sometimes we have PlayStation people come in here and they try and get me mad. I don't care, because I don't count PlayStation as anything for me, right? I own what I own. I play what I play, and I like what I like. And there's nobody going to come into my channel from another console and convince me of everything I know. Especially since I own all this stuff and I play. Most of these people don't do that, right? Like a lot of the people I deal with when it comes to the pride stuff, dude, they're not even gay, most of them, right? They're these ally type people, right? Trying to tell me how I'm a bigot, or they call me all kind of stuff, or whatever it is. The reason why I'm bringing this up now, dude, because we know that Xbox supports this stuff, right? But the difference between Xbox and other companies, and I'm not justifying it, guys. I'm just saying, right? This is me putting it out there for you, because people have questions like how I can support the Xbox. Dude, I don't support any of this stuff right here. In the same sense of any company that does this, or anything else that goes against my values or my principles or my morals. The one thing I do appreciate about Xbox, unlike other companies, right, that sets them kind of apart for me, and why, for me, I would prefer them to just to focus on video games, and that's all I want from them, right? But again, I don't like politics in my movies. I don't like DEI, right? When I go to training, right, and I'm supposed to be talking about security, and you're dumping all this stuff on me. One of the funny things is you guys know I'm Hawaiian. I went to one training, dude, and it's talking about Hawaiian stuff in a security training. I'm like, why are we doing this? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me, right? If we're gonna train on security, we need to know about security, right? And so the streams are crossed for the longest time. So what I do is I'm just me. I stick on my principles, right? I stand on the word of God when it comes to this kind of stuff. As you guys know, I'm a Christian, right? And so what I do is I stand on that, right? And so if whatever Microsoft decides to do, right, I will say this much, like they'll put stuff out there and I'll put my stuff out there. And I've never had them like shut down my account. I never had them say anything to me. I've never saw from them, unlike Facebook, unlike X, like a lot of my social media accounts, unlike people I thought were my friends, right, that ostracize you after because you stand in on what you believe in. For them, it's fine to talk about what they believe in, right? But then when you have a different opinion or you want to talk about something, right, or you want to have that discussion, they don't want to have it, and they just brand you as whatever, Nazi, bigot, all this stuff. I don't care, dude. I grew up my whole life, dude. I was Christian first. So I've been a gamer and a nerd my whole life, dude. I grew up, like me and Hebo talk about this all the time. Right? We grew up in a time when this stuff wasn't cool. So I've always been a part of stuff that you've been ostracized, right? So it doesn't matter to me, dude. If people step away, they step away. That's fine. No harm, no foul, right? And if this is what Microsoft does, this is what they do. As long as if they cannot weaponize it or force it upon me or do something absolutely and unequivocally blasphemous, right? I'll be fine with them, right? Because they do a lot of stuff with a lot of different groups of people, and they're not shoving down my throat. That's what I was trying to allude to in my previous video when I was talking about, how everything was shifting, right? And then if I wanted to shift back to normalcy, and people can have these conversations if they want to, or if they don't want to be bothered, just walk away, right? But this is just the way our society is now, right? It's changing, and I think it's changing for the good. But this is why I told you guys, man. Regardless, like, and I pinpointed Marvel, right? Because Marvel was grifting on this stuff big time, right? Do you think Marvel actually believed in any of this stuff? I know Disney has employees that do that. There's people that probably work for them that do. Some of these celebrities come on and they talk about it, but they're virtual signaling. Yeah, there's all of that going on. But what happens when the economy goes bad and they start losing billions of dollars, right? You notice how these people are shifting now, right? Because at the end of the day, the only thing you care about is the money. And I don't have a problem with that. Like I told you guys on my channel, I tell you guys this all the time, dude. That's what a business should focus on. They should actually scrap all this stuff, dude, and just continue making good products, telling good stories, making good content. That's what it all boils down to at the end of the day, right? That's all I care about when it comes to this kind of stuff. And like I told you before, man, if something I'm not down with it, I'll just walk away. That's why, again, I don't do a lot of the Marvel content on it. I might do something every once in a while. If something comes out that's exciting, right? Like I guess there was some game coming out, but then I guess it's not coming to Xbox, so that was a negative, right? So I'm like, okay, I don't have to touch that. There's some Marvel game, right, was shown at PlayStation, and you guys can let me know in the chat if there's some Marvel game that came out. And then now people are saying I thought it was for everybody, but obviously, I guess it's only going to be for PlayStation, which is fine. Dude, I got enough games on my side, right? Like the whole thing with the Wukong, right? Now we're finding out, right? Everybody's starting to post out. It's been a year. Now it's coming over to Xbox, right? All the stuff that they said was not true. That's what everybody's saying. And I tend to believe that, right? They probably made a deal with Sony and PlayStation, right? Again, which I'm fine with, dude. I don't care. You sign a deal with Sony, dude. For me, the way I deal with it on the Xbox side is you go to the back of the list. I don't care how good your game is. And again, it would mean something different if Xbox doesn't have games to play, if we don't have content. Dude, you get Game Pass, you're set. You don't need anything else. You just need Game Pass. For most of you guys, Game Pass will be enough because you guys don't game. Again, I know I keep on saying this on my channel, but I want to drive that point home. You guys are not really gamers, right? The gamers need more than just Game Pass because not every game is coming on Game Pass. There's some ID at Xbox games I mistakenly assumed was coming to Game Pass day one, and they're not. So I'm probably going to have to go buy it if I want to play it. Right? The only thing keeping me from buying some games, right? And I shouldn't say that because I did buy some on sale. Right? I mean, there's just so much content; it's hard for me to keep up. And I'm trying to play so many games right now, right? And I'm going to try and complete a lot of these games. I'm behind, dude. I'm talking when I'm behind. What I'm telling you guys, dude, my backlog is absolutely ridiculous. That's how bad it is. Okay. But I just wanted to say that to put it out there, guys. It's the same thing with the DEI, right? I didn't like the weaponizing of DEI. If people are gonna do the DEI thing, dude, to me it's kind of like, all right, dude, that's you. You do you, and I'll do me, and neither the twain should meet. Now, if you do something and you make something creative and stuff like that, maybe I might check it out. Like that game, Dustborn. That game actually looked pretty good, right? But then the guys kind of came on and kind of put their, they put in their stuff on their sleeve. And there's another game that came out too. I was interested in, but the person told us, if you're a certain political leaning, or if you're this, or if you're hateful, if you're Nazi, don't buy my game. Already, that's going to tell you all you need to know about the game. But still, at least for Dustborn, if it goes on sale or if it goes into Game Pass, I'll definitely check it out because I did see the trailer and I liked how the writing was. It's very witty. It's the type of game that I like, right? And I can hang with that, dude. As long as you're not hammering me over the head with that, right? Like a lot of these people that are like, like atheists and stuff like that is like, oh, like if I say God bless you, like if they sneeze and I say, oh, hey, God bless you, right? And they're like, oh, why do you have to say that? Like that. I'm not like that, right? I'd be like, okay, well, show me what you got, right? But the problem with a lot of the DEI stuff is the story and the game and entertainment and the audience is not the focal point. That was the problem we've gone for the last several years, right? A lot of these people had messages, and then they weaponize it by putting messages in the game or making the game a certain way which didn't make sense, right? And in order for you to not criticize their stuff, dude, they will call you all kind of names, and I'm not down with that. So I'm glad that stuff is going away, right? But on the same token, man, remember, dude, that my channel is about gaming, right? And right now, Microsoft and Xbox is the best bet in town, right? And like I said, dude, look, dude, if they come out tomorrow, man, and they're anti-Semites and Microsoft is an anti-Semite company, I'm done, right? If they come out, they're anti-God, hate God, do something super blasphemous, right? Pay money to have Christians killed, something crazy like that. They have to do something crazy like that, right? But as long as they don't cross their line, right, and it doesn't force me to cross mine. And I've never had that problem with them, dude. And I want to tell you guys something. Again, I don't agree with it. This is not my thing. I'm making it 100% how I stand on it, so you guys understand. And if you guys don't like it, fine. If you guys want to bounce from that, fine. I get it. Dude, I'm going to be 100% with you. But I'll be honest with you, dude. The one thing about Microsoft, they're one of the few companies that are true believers with this stuff, right? They don't say this stuff to say it. And I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying I agree with it. Dude, but all the corporations out there, Microsoft is the one that do that. And I got to say that, right? Because Microsoft, but in the same vein that I say that Microsoft actually is trying to look out for the gamers out there from the gaming perspective, right? They gave you Game Pass, right? For the longest time, you could buy their console super cheap. Not anymore. You guys messed up. You guys should have bought it, but you guys sat down there, let other people make decisions for you. You guys should have had an Xbox. You could have had a Series X below $400 because that thing was on sale for I don't know how long, but you let other people make your decisions for you, even though you're a gamer and should be making your own decisions. You let other people, you let the media, you let all these people tell you what to do, what to buy, how to play your games, which probably because you're not a gamer. But if you're a gamer and you went down that route, dude, sorry for you, man. Life is about choices. You guys should have jumped on board. Now you have to pay a premium price. And I'm not putting myself above you guys, dude. If I go upstairs to try and fire up Towerborn after I do this podcast, and then it's not, and my Xbox blows up, then I'm in the same boat as you. I have to go buy it. But to me, it'd be worthy to buy it. I wouldn't like it, right? I might have to wait a couple days, right? Because I'm waiting for some checks to clear, right? But once that happens, you feel me, right? That's why again, when I tell you guys I bleed green, I'm Xbox all in. This is one of the reasons. It's not just about hating Sony and wanting them to die, which I do. I'm not gonna lie about that. You guys know that already, right? It's about me being able to enjoy and support the console of my choice, right? That's me just being 100, man. Because I see it, dude. I see it, man. People chip in, and I see it happening, especially on social media, right? I see, that I'm gonna nip it in the bud because I see that train coming around the bend, right? And I know a lot of people are gonna come at me with this stuff, dude. And I've been the same. I've always been when it comes to this kind of stuff. That's just me being the honest truth. Now, okay. With that being said, sorry guys, I had to get that out there. I was gonna do it for a channel update, but like I said, I'm just gonna roll this all into one. Oh, what's up? And so let's get to the good stuff, guys. And please let me know in the chat, guys. This is not just about me talking about it. Definitely would like to see your opinions on it. One of the biggest things I wanted to talk about, the reason why I'm doing this video, I wasn't planning on doing one, but the reason I'm talking about it is because Phil Spencer chimed in. I was trying to find his quote. I thought I had it on X, and I couldn't find it. Let me see if I can find it. But the other day, man, Phil Spencer, Xbox guys have been kind of quiet, and I don't blame the dude. Look, for good reason, right? Because they've been feeling the effects of some of the stuff that they've been doing, some of the decisions that they've made. And I'm not gonna shy away from that, man. I love Phil, and you guys know I love Sarah. Sarah was also in a interview that I didn't get to watch, man. And it's not. I look, I don't have anything against them. It's just that I just wanted to play my games, and I ended up playing Towerborn for 4 hours yesterday, which I should not have done because I had stuff that I needed to do. But that's how much I like that game. It was crazy. All right, dude, we're gonna get into this, but take this with a grain of salt, right? Some of the stuff that these people are sharing. Okay, and I want you guys to say I said, and then later on come back and say, man, I thought you said they was doing this. No, I'm just gonna share with you guys, okay? It's gonna be on my X account, guys, so don't lose your minds, right? Somebody come across this video and you'd be like, man, look, he's an Xbox guy, but he's a Trumper. He's a Nazi. All right, dude, I can't help what I like to show. I try to keep it as vanilla as possible, right, for you guys. But here we go, right? Phil Spencer teases surprises you won't want to miss for Sunday's Xbox showcase, right? So that was Phil that came out this week. Now there was already some there was excitement for the showcase, right? But a lot of times when this happens, dude, I don't think Microsoft liked the level of excitement. Like for me personally, like we did a podcast. This Dia and Hebot was on it, right? And Dia told me she was like, I don't want to spoil it. She doesn't do the deep dive, right? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are like that. I don't think it's a lot of people not excited about Xbox. And then there's a lot of people worried about affording groceries and paying light bills. Hard to watch a showcase when you don't have any electricity, right? So there's a lot of that stuff going on in the world right now. But right, I don't think it was a negative, right? Um, I just think there's a lot of stuff going on with people. Right? Again, there's guys like us who keep up with this stuff, and even I was not ultra focused on it, right? And again, it's nothing against Xbox. It's not me sitting here trying to protest because they're putting games. You guys know I don't like them putting the games on other systems, but it is what it is, man. I made my peace with it. I'm moving on. I'm focusing on my gameplay, right? It's fine. It's none of that, dude. It's just that I'm busy, and there's the world, and there's life, and there's stuff going on, right? I've been going knee deep in my Bible, man. I've been reading the Old Testament again, right? And it's shocking me. The one great thing about when you read the Bible, right, and you can read it multiple times, right? But it's like I'm reading the Old Testament and I'm seeing it in a different way. Like God's kind of like opening my eyes, revealing to me like certain things that I just never thought about or did before. So this morning, in fact, I read my Bible for like, I want to say 2.5 hours. And all I was doing was going through the book of Exodus, and when the Israelites were leaving and coming out of Egypt, and how God, I left out right at the Red Sea, right? God had they just crossed the Red Sea, and then they're in the wilderness. And I had forgotten, like, not forgotten, but it's just a good refresher about how, like, reflection for me, like how ungrateful we can be a lot of times. Anyway, it was a really good read, and I really got into when God was instructing Moses and the Israelites how they're supposed to do the temple, and how the Spirit of God was going to dwell with them, and why the temple was the way that it was, and the attention to detail, and the things that you have to do. If you have to be even in the presence of God, dude. I mean, I just like it's deep. Anyway, that was sorry, getting off on a tangent, but that's what I did this morning, right? So again, press for time. So, but anyway, to Phil Spencer's point, it is what it is, guys. I'm not here to sit there and be like, Phil, whatever. No, I just been busy, okay. And so I feel like he kind of came on and kind of sweetened the pot. And Phil's that kind of guy. Well, I don't know if I can say this, but for the most part, right, Indiana Jones aside, for the most part, dude, he just doesn't do things like that just to hype it up. Like normally, in fact, he's very reserved, right? We've seen that over the years, and he has a track record of being that way. So for him to say something, he's piqued my interest. He's got me a little bit excited, right? I'm not gonna lie. And then, hold on, let me go back. Then I did this search, man, and then people are running with it. And again, this is what's got me even more hyped about the showcase tomorrow, right? Like, well, if you guys are actually, you guys know old school G. I thought I followed him. You know what? My account on X, on Facebook still, dude. Facebook still, dude, they'll shut me down. And the only reason I got my Facebook back up is because a friend of mine was coming in to reconnect with some of my friends because they were like, "Hey, where are you?" We're all up at that age, man. They probably thought, "Man, did this dude pass away?" So Phil Spencer, Gabe Newell, right? This is the other thing. And I love sharing this stuff. Right, number one, just to troll, right? Because there's people, man, that see this, dude, and they just actually just hate Xbox so much, right? That you show them something like this, dude, and they just lose their lunch, right? And so that's one of the things I like sharing about this stuff. Hold on. But this spurred all kind of rumors. You guys have been on my channel. You guys know that I talk about this anyway, about partnerships or outright buying Valve, buying EA, hopefully buying Sega, right? So he comes out and he does this because Phil pays attention, guys. He might not talk a lot, and he might not like. Look, I know he probably doesn't like the stuff I talk about on my channel, but that's cool. No harm, no foul. But I know that he pays attention to the stuff that's out there in the Xbox community, and you can tell when they do the showcases or when they talk about certain things. They have their finger on the pulse, which I think is cool. I know they don't participate as much anymore. For me, I kind of understand why, right? Because even the stuff that we have a problem with aside, they just got way too much hate from people. Right? There's just a lot of people out there that hate the Xbox brand and hate them and hate Microsoft. And they're trying to come out and they've gotten backlash from their own community. So I don't blame them. Just let your, like Unlimited always says, man, just play your games. To me, it's like Phil and the crew. They're just letting the game do the talking, man, and just talking loud. Again, guys, I cannot stress. This is probably, I forgot who said this. It might have been Unlimited, so I can credit him. But like you hear people, I think it was Unlimited. Anyway, you hear people all the time, and I say, "Oh, this is the worst time in gaming." I'm like Unlimited. I'm like, dude, I've never known a time where you had such a variety of games, so many ways to get to play your games, different spaces you can play it in, different consoles now. Thanks, Phil, that you can play it on, right? But at the end of the day, dude, when it comes to what gaming is all about, dude, Microsoft has it down on lock, especially with the Xbox brand. Dude, you cannot. There's no way around it. I mean, all the stuff and it's not just Game Pass, guys. It's the foundation that they built over all these years. Where 6 years ago, Phil talked about this when he's talking about the big picture that nobody saw. A lot of us, and me included, right? I remember the interview that he did it. But do you think, for me to think that he get to this level, that they'd actually buy AKB, buy Bethesda, right? We talked about it. We kind of talked around it. But for them to actually be doing that kind of stuff, right? This is the times we're living in right now. Sorry, guys, I'm checking. I just want to make sure I'm missing anybody. You guys, do you think it's going to be? Dude, imagine if this happens tomorrow. Dude. This will blow up the entire industry all over again. Right? And it's about time, let's be honest. Microsoft is doing this, so, just coming around, doing it little by little. Right? There's cycles there's a method to their madness, right? And tomorrow will be perfect if they announce something like this. Right? Just because of the scope and the size of it. Right? And of course, everybody's saying Valve. Like in my last video, was talking about this because Microsoft supposedly is pulling back on not supposedly, I guess they're pulling back on their handheld. Don't know the exact reasons. There's a lot of speculation out there, right? Talking about Windows PC, what Data said last week, good for them to focus on it because Data had problems with their PC store, I believe, or the way that Microsoft Xbox is on PC, right? And that's something she talked about for a long time, right? She's just not hating, she's talked about that because she's on the PC side of things as well. So for me, I mean, is this stuff going to happen? I don't know. Again, is there going to be an acquisition? I would love it if they do one. I really would. I think it's about time. Right? Again, I talk about this. This is not. Again, you guys know how I feel about Microsoft being the hegemon in gaming. They should totally take out Nintendo or Sony or put them so far back where they're not an issue anymore. And not to be mean, just so that they're the figurehead already. So just take that position as the figurehead, not saying to destroy them. Well, Sony, I don't like. If they die, I don't care. But I'm just saying, just to be the front runner because they're already doing the heavy lifting of industry leader. So they might as well just have the title too. And in having the title, just set the precedent of what gaming is gonna be like for the next 10, 20 years, specifically, right? Because everything is in flux right now. You guys know it. Keep up a lot of the stuff with the AI. Keep a lot of stuff with a lot of the future tech. And one of the reasons I can keep up with this kind of stuff is I do a lot of stuff with looking at a lot of stuff on the Department of Defense and foreign policy. Because again, I'm not saying I'm trying to be like I'm better than everybody else. I think I do that because it's interesting to me. Things that are interesting to me, I have no problem researching or reading about or doing the heavy lifting on. You guys feel me? So just letting you guys know, right? And so, you know, if Microsoft takes that position and just unabashedly just pushes things forward, right? And I've had people push back on me, says, what if they make a mistake? What if they cause irreparable damage to gaming? I'm like, look, the gaming is in flux right now. You guys see all the companies shutting down. You see you see all the layoffs first. Then you see the companies shutting down, dude. And some of these people are multi-million-dollar companies. Some of these have billions of dollars in backing, right? Dude, if there's one thing that's always absolutely fair in this world, dude, is um, is money. They don't care. They don't care what position you are, dude. You run out of it, you're done. Right? You do something stupid. You made a bad decision. It's gonna cost you. Right? And the vision that Microsoft has for everything that's going on in gaming, man. Because look, you guys is all exposed, and not you guys. Like you guys know what I mean in my chat, right? If you guys, I know most of you guys in my chat, yes, rock on with me. We kind of is the same when it comes to gaming, so it's not you personally, but we all know, dude. People got exposed, dude. People talk a big game online about their gamers, their this, their that, dude, but they don't put their money where their mouth is, right? And that's the problem with gaming, right? And a lot of these people, especially with social media, that's why you don't have the events anymore, right? Because a lot of these big corporations, Microsoft being one of the biggest, began to realize, like, look, you might say this stuff, dude, but we're not seeing it. We're not seeing the one for one. We're not even seeing the one for three, right? It's more like -5 to 1, where a lot of the stuff that people say and stuff that they do, what they want, right? How they think gaming should be, right? And then Microsoft does this, right? Because Microsoft's been doing this for the last 7 years, just taking everything and throwing up out on the wall to see what sticks, right? With their Xbox brand, right? That's why they brought Phil in, and that's how you know I bleed green. And all the guys in the group, everybody in this chat, right? We know because we've been going through this for all this time since 2013, right? So we're just not, talking just to talk here, right? Microsoft did anything and everything to appeal to people. Sometimes at the expense of their own fan base, right? Right? Because they know they got us on lock, right? Guys like me, dude, I ain't gonna go anywhere else, right? But what I'm saying is they put it all out there, dude. And at the end of the day, as we sit in 2025, and this is prior to the economy is not helping, right? But what I'm telling you is prior to the economy, prior to COVID, dude, there was a pattern, right? And this is why Microsoft started to shift. Game Pass was one of those things, supporting 98 Xbox, right? If you look at the type of games Microsoft has on their console, dude, they're not like Nintendo right now. They're not like Sony right now. Nintendo gets praised for their high quality game. And I saw an article where somebody compared Nintendo Nintendo to Apple, which I thought was funny because they're not even close to being the same type of company, except if you talk about content, right? But the difference between Apple's another $1 trillion company, so that was a bad comparison, right? To put Nintendo, because to me, Nintendo can't do anything else but this, because they've done this their whole time. Yes, do they have quality games? Yes, do they have well-known IPs? Yes, but they've kind of put themselves in a box, right? And I don't think the Nintendo fans have a problem with that. The only people I hear complaining about Nintendo a lot of the times is people that are not the hardcore Nintendo fans. The hardcore Nintendo fans seem to be perfectly fine with it, and they'll buy the Nintendo Switch 2. And then when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes back with its version that has an OLED screen, they'll probably buy that, right? And they don't have no problem, dude. This is why I don't really mess with the Nintendo guys, right? Because that's all they're gonna do, right? That's basically all they're gonna do. Most of the people that own a Nintendo Switch probably own another console, or they play PC and have a console, right? The people that don't like what they're doing. But at the end of the day, dude, they have their market, and if their market supports them, right? But I tell you guys all the time, dude, they can't be the lead because the industry would die as a whole. You need somebody that's pushing the envelope forward to be the lead. And again, that's what brings you back to Xbox and Microsoft. And hopefully tomorrow in the showcase, we're going to see that, right? We're going to see some acquisitions. We're going to see some partnerships, as the picture shows right here, right? Hold on, let me see if I can find the other. There's another one that they show. Actually, man, dude, I lost a lot of. Wait, oh, I gotta go back. My bad, guys. And then, of course, yeah, the Xbox Showcase bingo card, which I think is pretty cool. Right, that's some pretty cool stuff on here. And this is what I was talking about. Now, this guy is not happy about it. I have not watched the interview, guys. Sorry, I just haven't had a chance to. I definitely will check it out. You guys know I like Sarah Bond. Not everybody, everybody has their opinions on it, but I think she's actually good for the company. Here we go. Wolf of Darkness posted. Satya, your all-in push for gaming with Phil Spencer is huge. Securing Xbox future feels incredible. Thank you for your genius vision. What I want to see, I just don't want to see the vision, Wolf. I'll be honest with you, but I want to see the full realization of Microsoft being an Xbox with their brand being the hegemon in gaming. Like they set the standard because they should. Like I was saying earlier, that's what I want to see. That would be that would for me would be the natural evolution of Xbox as a brand, right? If they're gonna just put Xbox as more than just a console, it's a brand, and you play anywhere. All this stuff that they're doing, they need to be the lead in the gaming industry. And a lot of people look. I see it. I see what they're doing. Right now, can they pull it off is another thing. But I'm pretty sure they will. People don't realize how big a company Microsoft is. And now that they've gone all into Xbox, you take the good with the bad, of course. But, this is crazy. So anything else? Oh yeah, it was Phil Spencer's birthday as well. So happy birthday to Phil. Happy belated birthday. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I hope they do some acquisitions tomorrow. The next thing I want to see, guys. Sorry, I know I'm kind of rambling on. The next thing I want to see, like I said in my previous video, I would like to see some new hardware. I really want to know what the new console is going to be. I'm not doubting that they're going to do it. There's a lot of people like I need to see the console because I don't believe they're going to do it. Dude, they've already announced it. They've been working on it, R&D and everything like that. Been for years. What I'm curious to know is what type of console it is, because that's the rumors that are out there. I've heard for the longest time that the console is some type of hybrid between PC and console, right? And whatever that means, it'd be cool. Even if they show something, that'd be fine. But I like them to show it and then kind of discuss it a little bit. Don't have to do the deep dive. They can save it for whenever they do one of their specials. That's totally fine. But if they show it, which I think would be cool, and then hopefully kind of touch on it, do a little deep dive on it, I would like that too. Okay, so looking forward to that. I said acquisitions already. What else was I thinking about? Oh, so as far as games is concerned, a lot of stuff that's out there. We know Xbox has a big slate of games coming out this year. In fact, they've exceeded expectations on games. Remember last year how everybody's saying things were dry, which ironically, right, for all the other consoles out there, things are absolutely anemic with Sony and Nintendo right now. And I know Sony had a launch, and then they had Mario World or Mario Kart. And I already told you guys, Mario Kart looked kind of cool to me when I watched their showcase with my daughter a couple months ago. But is that, that's one game, right? And for those guys, like if you look back to last year when you were talking trash about Xbox, and Xbox had games and they had third party deals and they had ID at Xbox, they were dropping stuff all the time. That's why for people like us who are actually in the ecosystem, we know all that they're saying was BS. That's why they would be specific for AAA games, and then they were like first party AAA games, that kind of stuff, but that all blew up in their face because they have nothing now. In fact, our first party AAA is actually going to their consoles now, right? Our Microsoft Studio games are going there, right? Because that's how bad it is on their side, right? So it is what it is. But for me, what I would like to see is not the stuff I know that's going to be dropping. I do want to see it, right? I want the updates on the State of Decay 3. It's one of my favorite games. I really do love that game. It would be cool if I saw something because we haven't seen anything in a long time. Of course, Everwild. I think that was Dia was saying that would be cool as well. There's a bunch of games they dropped a couple years ago we haven't heard anything about, and I'm more than happy to welcome all of that stuff. I would love to see a Starfield update, see what they're doing with that. Everything that's out there already, man. Even if they do something on Towerborn, right? Because if you guys didn't know, Towerborn is still in a preview program, right? And I've been playing that and been enjoying it. So if they drop something on that, that's fine. My personal things that I want to see from third party, Killing Floor 3, I know that's out. Off the top of my head, that's what I'm seeing. I should have wrote this stuff down. There's a couple other games that I saw as well that if they do an announcement, I'll be perfectly fine with. That would be really cool. I have no problem with that. But with that being said, getting back to the acquisition thing, that I would love to see them do something, especially with Sega, and then Sega drop a lot of more their content in their games to show off at the showcase. Look, this was the showcase that replaced E3, right? And I know E3 is long gone, right? And we'll probably never reach that level. But the size of Microsoft, their brand, their games, the amount of stuff that they have, a lot of the people this year never in their wildest dreams, especially the haters out there, thought that Microsoft would have a year that they're having right now. They've taken over. Like that's what I keep on saying, dude. They are the gaming industry right now. So grasp it, dude. That's what I want to see you guys do. I want to see you guys see a full blown. Like I don't know why, with all the content they have, unless cost is an issue, that we're not doing. Instead of having a summer game fest, we should be having an E3 presented by Xbox. And if you want to bring other people along, if you want to throw Sony a bowl, fine. You want to bring Nintendo, introduce their console, fine, right? But with all the content and all the stuff that Microsoft is doing, dude, they could literally do an E3 event by themselves. I said this before, that's why I'm repeating it now. Right? But because they literally could do that, they could single handedly save E3. Just do E3 presented by Xbox or presented by Microsoft would be better because Microsoft would be paying for it. Right? But they could easily do that, and not miss a beat. They can talk about like indie games. They can talk about third party. Every day they can talk about something new. And if things come into fruition that I want to happen when it comes to Xbox, and how I see their vision of what. Oh, 1 second, guys. I gotta pause briefly. The full fruition of what Xbox can be as a company, right? And it's a division all into itself, dude. And it's not like the olden days where we watched the documentary of where Xbox stand within the Microsoft ecosystem, dude. They're a big part of it now, and they should be treated as kind. They should be treated as such, right? Because they're that big, they're that huge. Right? Again, go through the rigmarole of repeating myself, right? I want to see peripherals, right? I want to see them showcase peripherals, even if they're not doing it themselves. They have a good relationship with Nacon. Nacon makes some pretty solid stuff. In fact, I'm looking at buying their controller because people have been praising it just to check it out. The guys that do their sticks, right, for their fighting games, right? Some of the stuff they have down the pipe. Maybe reintroducing the Connect since it's okay now since Nintendo's gonna have a camera, right? And they should not have even given up on it. It's not even a slight at Nintendo. It's like Nintendo. That's Microsoft should be more like that. Nintendo goes by their own beat. Sometimes Microsoft, you got to go with the beat of your own drum, whether you get to critique or not. Now, if it's boiling down to the money aspect, I get it. But the Xbox, the Kinect was like the best selling peripheral of all time. So you can't throw that at me, right? So I would like to see do your own things, man. Especially if you're going to expand and bring some of these titles back, because that's the other thing that I want to talk about. They own Activision. They dropped the retro arcade thing, which I think is awesome. They teamed up with what's it called, Antstream, right? And I think it's awesome because I did like Antstream. Just I didn't have a good connection because I was it's streamed and I wasn't a good connection. I jump on it now, everything's cool, right? So if they can build up on that, that'd be absolutely awesome. They own Activision, right? They drop games in Activision there, but as we all know, right? I talk about this all the time. Activision has other games, right? Tony Hawk Pro Skaters coming back with 3 and 4 redone. You saw what they did with Maryland, and they just redropped that, dude. They just dropped Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Nobody saw that coming. Right, so if you're gonna do that, let's go all the way, man. They're gonna drop the newest Crash Bandicoot. Can't wait till they drop that because I want to try it. I want to play it, dude. I used to play Crash Bandicoot in the game back in the day, dude. That was my genre, dude. Platformers back in the day. Platformers, fighting games, and sports games, and action games. I always get action games and platformers mixed up, but dude, you have that. You have a plethora of games that you could bring back, like Assault, right? Stuff like that. But if you're gonna do this, man, I want you guys to go all in, right? Like I want to see more than just Tony Hawk. That's cool. That's a great start. Stuff you're doing with the retro arcade, love it, everything like that, dude. But bring back Skylanders, dude. I see you guys do a game like Towerborn. I know you guys have the live service games down on lock. You guys know how to do it. You have the infrastructure to do it. That's the most important thing, right? You see how it's been hard for Sony, right, to get this stuff off the road. I don't think they'll be able to do it, right, because it's just too much for them to handle. But Xbox is on the cusp of that. Dude, bring Skylanders back and make it an online service game if you have to. It'd be really cool if you're allowed to be backwards compatible. We can use. I still have my Portal and I still have my figures. There'd be nothing greater to me than you redoing that game, bringing it back. You don't even have to update it, I don't think. Maybe touch it up a little bit, right? Bring it back into vogue a little bit, touch it up. Maybe in some 4K, get some HDR in there, make those colors really pop, make it look like a Disney cartoon, an animated feature, or like an old school Disney animated feature, not the crap they're putting out now. But you know what I'm saying? So just do that, put that little bit of it, run it back there, make it backwards compatible, let the people come in, dude, and then you have right there. Dude, the Skylanders was so huge. And I know a lot of the toys games, all that stuff blew up way too much. It got too big and it ended up collapsing upon itself. I get it. But it's to me like they can bring it back. It's ready for the picking right now. And it's an open thing. And if you guys do a live service aspect of it, like do like Towerborn. Like Towerborn, I've been playing that and I've actually spent money in Towerborn just to support them. But I've been really impressed with like you don't get like crappy skins. Like if you the skins that you unlock are really good. And I'm talking about just in the game. You can unlock gear in the game. That's good. They have stuff in the store. Looks absolutely awesome. There's some stuff that you can work and unlock on the battle pass kind of thing that they have over there, right? But it's not a hard entry point, right? It's not like you trying to like if you look at something like Overwatch just did, right? They it was like $99 I think for the Street Fighter thing, which I think is worthy. I'm not complaining about that, but I'm saying like the entry level points, right? If you take Skylanders, you can do that with Skylanders like you're doing with Target, right? You can have an entry level, easy access for parents that especially with the money economy right now, right? They can go in and they can do that, right? And then also Guitar Hero. Like I don't look, dude. I don't work on Microsoft. I don't know the inner workings of Microsoft and Xbox stuff like that. But everything they're doing, man, why we don't have this stuff going on right now, just it boggles my mind. Right? If you do these two games and give people the option out there, especially now since there's nothing in existence, right? You can do it. And for me, I prefer you guys do your own peripherals. But if you do third party, just do third party, right? Like I wish you guys would make your own games, physical edition of games, but you guys don't. So whatever. Right? I could deal with that, dude. But don't sleep on these titles, man. Don't sleep on the possibility of creating a whole fan base because that's what gaming's turning into, right? Just people within ecosystems. My daughter, what are you playing right now? Marvel Rivals, right? Yeah. Oh, she plays as Marvel Rivals. Or most of the time, yeah? You still play Overwatch?
Yeah.
Yeah, she still plays Overwatch, and you play what else you play?
That's Genshin,
Yeah, Genshin Impact. What is the game I just played? Zone what? Zoneless?
Zone Zero.
Yeah, Zoneless and Zeros. Anyway, right? Yeah, that's the future, right? So come on, Microsoft, do it, man. Put Skylanders out there. Get Guitar Hero back. You got old gamers like myself that will jump into that. We'll leave all those other zoneless what?
Zone Zero.
Genshin Impact, Genshin Impact. We'll leave that to the younger generation. I'm too old, man. I was trying to play that game. It's fun, but I can't. My brain doesn't work that fast anymore, guys. That's one of the reasons, man. I'm afraid to buy Capcom's greatest hits. Yeah, I'm just scared. I was just like, dude, how old am I? Dude, I'm slipping. It's not. I'm done. I'm going down. Right. But anyway, that's kind of it, guys, for now. It's kind of also on. Let me stop sharing this. Right. That's kind of my thoughts. I mean, I know it's kind of off the cuff. Got some stuff out there, right? But I mean, I'm looking forward to the showcase tomorrow. But depending on what time it starts, I'll probably watch it. But the reason I won't stream it, guys, is it's hard for me to stream it. If I can watch it, it'll be fine. If I try and stream it like this and try and do it, I have a lot of issues. But if I do, just pay attention to my channel. Maybe I do. Maybe one of the guys will call me and say, hey, can we try? I'm like, okay, we'll try. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Vontae, man, thanks for being here, my brother. Daniel Berry Sports and Toolman55. I know this is kind of off the cuff. I don't want to get that out there, but I got to go now. Got to make some food, and I'm going to play some Powerball. Anyway, Xbox All In, channel, your host, Savior Forever. We out.